It's time now for County-Wide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Brad Miller as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives here in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's County-Wide.
And good day to you. Welcome to the program. It is County-Wide. Brad Miller with you, and we're happy to welcome into studio Lorna Murray. Lorna's a family advocate with Yavapai Head Start. It's been a while since we've talked about the Head Start program in Yavapai County, and today we'll do that. And we say good day to you.
Good day to you, too.
Good to have you in studio, bright and chipper this morning. And I'm going to ask you some basic questions about Head Start. And how about the first one being, what is what? I think many of us are familiar with Head Start, but let's start at the beginning. When we say Head Start, this program is about what? It's
about children and families. The Head Start program is geared towards family involvement and family engagement, and it's a preschool program for the preschool children and a early Head Start program for prenatal moms up to age 3 children.
It's interesting, when we were chatting just before the show, you said what you just said right there, that it's, because you say Head Start, people think, well, for kids, little kids, kind of a preschool, and I'm going to make that distinction in a minute. But you said children and families.
Yes.
And I hadn't kind of thought about it, but of course, it's going to involve everybody. Let me back up a tiny bit, though. When we say preschool, it's been a while since mine have been that little.
Yes.
Age, what, 3?
Typically 3 to 5.
Okay, so 3 to 5 is what we call preschool, pre-kindergarten.
Pre-kindergarten,
okay.
Yes.
And when we say Head Start, are we talking like what we would picture, say, a kindergarten room to be, a classroom setting, desks, or is it more? Okay.
It's more learning centers.
Yeah.
The children have like a literacy center. They have a housekeeping area, what they call housekeeping. It's a little home setting. They have science centers, and so the children are kind of free to go from one center to another and explore and investigate the items in the classroom.
Sure. Is this all day?
We have some centers have an all-day program. Most centers are half-day program where the children go either in the morning or the afternoon. The early Head Start for the 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds is an all-day program.
Okay. So we do get down into the young ones. That's what I was going to ask. 3 to 5 is kind of what I had in my mind, and that's what you say for this. And then you say it's simply called early Head Start?
Early Head Start.
Okay. Now, when we get to the really little ones, I'm just kind of curious about, I know that they're like sponges and they absorb everything. But it almost seems like, when they're that little, I don't know how much kind of structured learning. There's certainly play.
Oh, you'd be amazed.
Okay.
You'd be amazed.
Tell me about
they
it.
do have, even in the 1-year-old room, they have circle time where they sit around and listen to stories, and they learn about literacy and books and how important they are and how to treat them. And, it's the social skills as far as treating their friends kindly. And, a lot of times when children that are that age, they've never been around other children of that age.
Right.
They're the youngest of the family or the only child. And so there's a lot of social skills that need to be learned for children of that age as well. Let's
explore that a tiny bit. Actually, you said something about books and how they feel. And that when we're, especially for early Head Start, when we're 1 and 2, that kind of tactile, a concept of actually hands-on and whatnot. With our smartphones and our pads and pods and all of those kinds of things, that feel of the book is something that more and more kids are going to probably have a harder time.
Yes, and
being exposed to.
And part of the excitement about books is that kids, when they first learn how to use books, they learn the stories, when the parents are reading the stories. Right. And then the next step is that the kids will start telling what the story is. And so they either do it from memory of what the story was, or sometimes they make up their own stories. And so off of the pictures in the book.
Right.
And so that's very exciting when you start hearing kids actually create their own stories. And, it's a very exciting time for kids learning.
To have your head in that universe again. If we could all just go back and do that every day, how much richer might our lives be. For Head Start, do you apply to the program? If I'm listening right now and I've got a 2 or 3 year old and I think, wow, Head Start, I'm unfamiliar with it, I'd like to learn more, do I apply?
Yes.
How does it work?
Yes, you need to fill out an application. It is a federally funded program, so we have to go by the federal poverty guidelines to be able to qualify for the program.
Okay.
And you can either come into any of the centers. There's a center in Clarkdale, there's one in Cottonwood, there's a center in Camp Verde, Sedona.
Okay.
You can go into any of those centers and pick up an application for any center. They're all the same application.
Let me do this too while you're talking online. There's yavapai@nacog.org, so that's going to be an email address.
Right, and you can go there and download an application.
Okay, so that's one way to do it. The phone number is 634-8308, and I'm assuming somebody just pick up the phone and
Yes.
just give you a call and kind of initiate the process that way.
Yes.
Are there kids that maybe aren't the right fit? Do you run into that? Is there like that for whatever reason maybe it's just too early?
Sometimes,
ever
you know, sometimes the kids come in and they're just not ready yet.
Yeah.
You know, and the staff works with the parents as much as possible, you know, to try and get them transitioned in.
Right.
And, you know, and sometimes it works, you know, where the kids aren't quite ready, but, you know, with work with the staff and work with the parents, there's you know, an adjustment period, but it's fine, you know, it works out well. And sometimes, you know, the kids are just not ready.
Yeah.
And so we do have a home-based program where the teachers actually go into the home and work with the parent and the students.
Really?
Yes.
And that's all under the Head Start umbrella?
That's under the Head Start umbrella. And we have an early home-based visitor that works with prenatal moms up to age 3, and she goes into the home and works with those families. And then I know there's a home-based visitor in Sedona that works with the preschool families. If the preschool children are not ready to be in a classroom setting, she can go into the home and work with them.
No kidding.
She's out of Sedona, but she covers the whole area here.
Right. Okay. Okay. Let's let's go ahead and take our break. I want to start to get into when we talked about families. When you kind of introduced this, we've been talking about the kids so far. I want to talk about what mom and dad need to know.
Okay.
When we come back, so we'll do that. Our guest today is Lorna Murray, family advocate, Yavapai Head Start. We'll be back to Countywide right after this.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Welcome back to the program again, Countywide today. Lorna Murray, family advocate with Yavapai Head Start, and yavapai@nacog.org, an email for you to kind of get the ball rolling in 634-8308. We talked about moms and dads and what do they kind of need to know, need to be prepared for if they want to if they think their child might be ready for Head Start?
Well, they just need to come in and pick up an application or download one.
Okay.
Along with that, they need to provide income documentation, because that's how they qualify for the program. And then a birth certificate and a shot record, because all the kids need to be immunized and healthy. And once they're in the program, then they need to, we need to make sure that everybody's had their health checkups.
Right.
And so we do health screenings on them, make sure they've gone to the doctor, the dentist.
Okay.
We do audios, visions,
Right.
all that kind of thing.
All those kinds of things that you're going to find at school age.
Right.
that
Right.
come along with just being school age. How do I know if my son or daughter is ready? And as we look at that kind of age scale, the early Head Start for the 1s and 2s, and 3, 4, 5 for kind of the other, how do, if I'm looking at Johnny or Jenny, how do I know and think, it's time to get out of the house and get into this kind of more structured setting?
Well, they're welcome to come in anytime. We have an open door policy. You can come in and look around and see how the classroom is structured. We have people come in all the time and do observations, to see if that's something that they're really interested in. And they can also bring Jenny or Johnny in, just let us know, so that if we, if we're doing an activity where we have a limited quantity of items,
Sure.
like certain amount of popsicle sticks or whatever, for instance,
Okay.
that we have plenty of materials available. So, and they're welcome to bring their child in and stay for the day.
Test drive, if you will.
Do a test drive.
It
Yes.
seems like that might be the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And just kind of find out if the little one's ready.
And we also offer that for families that don't qualify for the program, that if they are over income, but they still want their child to experience that classroom setting and the socialization with their peers, they would just have to stay with their child. They would not be able to drop them off.
Okay.
But that is available to families that don't meet the income guidelines.
So going that way, the kind of, I guess we'd say, more traditional way of doing things, the process you described, between all that, the home-based learning, it seems like there's just almost one way to fit almost every individual
pretty much
family, an avenue, if you will, to get them involved in this program if they want to be.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. What's the difference, or is there, between when we talk about preschool and Head Start, or is there much difference?
Preschool and Head Start, I mean, there are different organizations that have preschools.
Right.
But usually when we're talking about Head Start, it is the preschool program in Head Start. We do have the early Head Start program, and we call that EHS. And that's basically for children under the age of 3.
Okay. And is there like a federal curriculum, or we talk about the...
We do have a curriculum. It's called a creative curriculum. And then we also have assessments that we do on the children. 3 times a year we do assessments, and those are from anecdote taking. The teachers take just notes of what the kids are doing, how they're progressing.
Okay.
And then those assessments are put into a computer database, and it's all that data is processed to see where they are, where they need to go from there. And we want them ready for school. And so the schools are using that same curriculum as well, or that same assessment system.
Okay.
And so, we partner with the parents and we partner with the schools to make sure that those kids are ready.
Okay. And it seems like there's been a little, the heat on this debate's been turned up a tiny bit in recent years about, and I'm not sure the significance of it, and you can help me understand that when the kids go through the Head Start program and then get into like the traditional school, say the K through whatever, there's this notion of test scores, and that you'll have some, I've heard or read that some will say, well, the kids who go through the Head Start show a little bit more affinity for the classroom once they get into the kindergarten, first, second, and so on, and others that say, no, it doesn't. And then it seems like there's still another set that'll say, well, yeah, but only to a point. That we see improved test scores through, say, only 2nd grade and so on. You're on the inside.
Yes.
What do you see and what have you looked at?
Well, I think a lot of times, they're the children that go through Head Start, they do, there's a significant difference when they get into the kindergarten because they do have those social skills.
Yeah.
And if the children are not socialized with their peers prior to that, then they're trying to, learn those skills once they get to kindergarten. And the ratio in the kindergarten classes and in the preschool or in the elementary school classes, the ratios are so much different than what they are in Head Start. So there's more, like in the early Head Start program, the ratios are 1 to 4. There's one teacher for every 4 children. And then in the preschool, it's a 1 to 9.
Okay.
And then once you get into the elementary schools, as you know,
1 to 20.
1 to 20 or something like that. So it only makes sense that some of those advantages that are given to those kids early on might wear out as the process goes, because, and I think a lot of it has to do with the ratios and the individual attention that the kids get.
In almost any conversation that you have about education these days, and there's, it's election day as we record and do our program today, and a lot of school districts in Yavapai County are looking at bond and money issues, bonds and overrides and all those kinds of things. And one of the things that I've heard, and I've been doing this for a long time, talking about education and talking with a lot of folks in that industry, are the class ratio, the teacher to student ratios. It seems like that, in a sense, is the whole ball game. And it sounds like from what you're saying that's what you're seeing through the Head Start program too, and that the true benefit is that those smaller ratios are what, as much as anything, when you're talking about kids that are 1, 2, 3, and 4, it seems to me like test scores are going to be very difficult to use as a barometer of what they get from any education program. And
we don't necessarily test the kids.
Right.
We have, we were given mandates in prior years to do tests on children. Yeah. And what you find is that a 4-year-old doesn't care if they do well on a test.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want to be outside with their buds, and so...
How do you test creative play? How do you test making up, like you said, the story about pictures in a book? How do you test those things? Sure.
And so, but the assessments that we do are observation assessments. Right. We do observations on whether the kids can, know their letters or whether they can write their name and stuff. But if you sit down and have a child say, okay, what letters do you know? Sometimes they'll tell you and sometimes they won't.
Right.
But if they're playing with their friends over in the math center and you can hear them say, oh, this is my name, see, it's A, B, C, D, then you know that those children know those letters.
Yeah, it's there. And that's the best way to do it is sit back and look.
It's through play and through observations.
Yeah, terrific. Let's go ahead and take another break. We'll come back. There's more to talk about Yavapai Head Start. Our subject today and our guest is Lorna Murray, and Lorna is a family advocate with that program. We'll take a break. Countywide is back right after this.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning. 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash, 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
There's no place like home.
Getting home safely is just a click away. But making sure your child is in the right seat is just one of the steps down the road to safer travels.
I don't know how it works.
Find the right seat for your little one's age and size.
We thought you told us.
There's no better way to get home safely. Know for sure that your child is in the right seat. Get all the facts at safercar.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Again, welcome back to the program, our final segment with Lorna Murray today. And Yavapai Head Start, Lorna's a family advocate. Yavapai@nacog.org, that's the email address, and then 634-8308. Okay, the kids come to Head Start, and that's kind of the first stop in the whole educational career for most of them.
Right.
You must work, I would assume, somewhat closely with the various, school districts, public schools, whatever they are, charters and so on, in kind of making sure that you're going the right direction to get these youngsters started for the rest of their school career.
We work on school readiness with the kids, and that kind of falls into three categories. We get the kids ready for school. We get the parents ready for the school, for the transition into elementary school, and we try and get the schools ready to receive the kids. Yeah. And so we set up meetings, the teachers meet the other teachers, and they go over what the expectations are for kindergarten so that the preschool teachers can be working on those skills. Sure. Family involvement is crucial. The more the family is involved in the child's educational career, the more successful that child is going to be. Sure. And so we want to get the parents involved, not only volunteering in our program, but helping, volunteering in the kindergarten classroom, or helping, with the kids with their homework, or just having that association with the school, that the parents, that it's really important that they participate.
All fingers of the same glove.
Right, right.
I guess you could almost say. You have, there's a lot of volunteers that kind of make Head Start work.
Oh, of course.
Do you need any more?
Oh, always. Always.
Yeah. Let's do that. If there's, there's certainly folks listening that might have some free time or are available. Yeah. What does a volunteer need to know going in? What kind of qualifications should I need?
Well, you just need to care about being involved in lives of children to qualify to volunteer. Sure. And time, but we do partner with the foster grandparents program, and so we do have, grandparents that come in and help with the stories. Sometimes they just need, a child just needs a lap to sit on to read a book, and grandparents are great for that. And, or sometimes we've had volunteers that come in and help landscape our trees, because we're a nonprofit organization, so we don't really have a landscaping company that comes in and does that. It's usually, volunteers or the staff at the schools, and so having volunteers do that sort of thing is important as well.
So you don't have to be a retired teacher.
No.
To help out Head Start. It sounds like there's any number of different skills and abilities that a volunteer might bring.
We had a volunteer a couple years ago that came in and made planter boxes for our for the kids to plant flowers in. Yeah. So it's, any skills that you have are welcome.
A lot of times, I know we talk to an awful lot of nonprofit outfits, and I know that a lot of times a volunteer can bring a skill or an ability or an interest that can kind of change the direction, or not of the overall program, but allow something new to take place that can be an exciting and
and we've had volunteers come in and play music for the kids.
Yeah, sure.
And the kids love that. We've had the fire department come in and volunteer and do their little, show the kids what it's like to see a fireman all suited up, so that if the instance comes up, then they're not afraid of that person.
You bet.
So community volunteers are fabulous.
A million different ways to go after it. Lorna, we thank you so much for coming in today and for what you do. Working with young people. I mean, hats off to anybody that is able to successfully do that. It's Yavapai Head Start. One more time, 634-8308 is the phone number, and there's an email, yavapai@nacog.org. You want to maybe register your youngster for the Head Start program, find out more, or if you want to volunteer, good ways to reach out and connect. We thank you again.
Thank you.
Good talking to you. It's our program. We'll see you next time.
This has been County-Wide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday as we tackle the hot topics and talk to the decision makers across Yavapai County. That's County-Wide with Brad Miller and Paul David each Tuesday and Thursday on this Yavapai Broadcasting station.